Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you are across the world, welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Eitai, and it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. We're going to be having a great time, fantastic time this week, but especially today. Today is a special day, and we'll be talking about a special topic, and we have a special guest, and we also will be joined by our special analyst. So, ladies and gentlemen, put on your seatbelts, sit back, enjoy the ride. It's going to be entirely an exciting moment. But before then, we would like to do our usual. Every morning, we always ensure that we make it a great morning with our greetings. And I'm sure you'll be blown away by the first person I'm going to introduce to you. A smile is electric, is electrifying, and energy is contagious. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to you together with three, two, one. Titi. Hello, Titi. I
I
got
thought
you.
the electric smile was I thought the electric smile was safety chick, but it's okay. Nice.
You all have your introductions, trust me. You all have your introductions.
Okay, good morning,
Okay, so Titi, give
everyone.
me some steps. Give me some steps. Yeah. Go Titi. Go Titi. A lot is coming. Go Titi. A lot is coming. Go Titi. All right. And then, of course, without wasting much time, he's always got my back. And he is the ever creative person all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, bringing you the one and only, the triple one and only, the creative director of CME Foundation, the one that has the largest WhatsApp group in the entire African continent, bringing to you slim, tall, shady, dark, handsome, laughable. Ladies and gentlemen, even
Woo!
Las Vegas,
Good
Nevada.
morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Dr. Ro. That introduction was bad.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, the person I'm about to introduce to you is one and only, no other. There can be only one person. There will be no one before her, before after her, and there's nobody like her. She's the person I need you to get set. Ensure that if you're using glasses, what you're about to see might affect your sight. Put on your put on your sunshades if you can, and if you can't, I think you should take your phone back a bit or sit back a bit because I'm going to dazzle you, bedazzle you, magnanimous effect from the lady that I'm going to introduce to you, one and only with the signature tune called O'Shea. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing you together, Safety Chick.
Morning, sir.
Yeah,
Good
let me
morning,
hear the
everyone.
O'Shea now. Give me the O'Shea. O'Shea.
Oh, Shay.
Woo! Bello blessing, bello blessing. And I don't know, Titi, should I do the next introduction or is after the news? What do I do?
No,
Tell me.
I think we do the next introduction. Let's bring our
Okay.
awesome guest on.
Okay, but before I bring our awesome guest on, there's one lady that's always ready to fight with the Republic in her hand. She's ready to bring out the fire. She's a fire extinguisher resistant individual. She's always backing up Titi, but today I don't know whose side she's going to be on. She's a lady that goes to the thriller in Manila, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, the One Woman Republic. Ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome.
Welcome.
Warm welcome to the Bell of Blessing. KK!
Hi
Why,
everyone. Good
why, KK,
morning.
why do I think you've done Gidigbo before? Eh?
It's like I have.
All right. And of course, I've kept you waiting and you don't need to wait any longer. It's a special day, like I said. We're going to be talking about something special, talking about special people. And of course, we have a special guest who's a special person with special expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa, bringing you the one and only, the Queen and the King altogether of special needs. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing you Lola Aneke. We're having,
Welcome,
we're
welcome.
having Lola Aneke in the house. If you don't know who Lola Aneke is, you're on a long thing. You don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So go get your notepads, go get your pen. You have questions, get set. We're going to have an exciting time, an engaging time, an enriching time. But before we do that, I think it's time for us to go for the news. So let's get to the news and then we'll come back and we'll have a great time. Thank you. Welcome back, and we are live on the Good Morning Education Show. Wherever you are streaming from or joining us, please do let us know.
Rotimi, is it only me or I can't hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear him. I can hear him.
God, put your laptop away. Okay, you said the device. All right, so we're going to have the headlines quickly. If you want to say something about the headlines, just start with KK, then we'll get back.
Those headlines. Unfortunately, I wasn't watching them as much. So all I saw were the programs. I didn't really see the headlines.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm excited about the program about learning models. I think that was going to be beautiful. So somehow I missed the headlines.
All right. Safety Chick, do you want to say something about it?
Yes, the headline.
Oh, we lost Safety Chick there. Kitty, can you hear me now? Hello, Kitty?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. We're talking on the headlines. We have several headlines. What do you have to say on that?
Honestly, the main headline that caught my eye was the beginning of the year, especially summer camp.
Yeah.
That was the special headline, right?
I'm telling you, so all the others, I guess because nothing really You have been talking about them in terms of exam starting, private schools resuming for exams. So, so the main thing that caught my eye was just looking at like the events and some of the headlines concerning what's happening.
Okay. Titi. All right. Safety chick, yeah. Safety chick, you wanted to say something?
I saw something along the lines of what's going on. I wonder what's happening with my network.
Oh, Ruben, do you want to say something about the headlines?
I think I was not following during the headline.
I said, everybody not following. Nobody saw the ASU remittance, lots of millions into Ekiti state government.
Whoa.
Then nobody saw that.
No,
Okay.
we saw that, but I saw that the ASU remittance. But you know how this thing is. It's neither here nor there. As long as our government doesn't, start doing a lot of accountability, whereby this is the money we receive and this is how we spend it. For the rest of us, they're like, okay, is it more accountability? But we do need to demand, accountability from government. That's really how government should. It's like being a part of an association. Once they're collecting money, they need to give account. This is how we spend the money. So because we are just not used to the government doing that. So for us, it's only when they steal the money that we now hear about the amount. Before that, we don't hear anything. When they just steal money and people are fainting, that's when we start hearing. We start hearing. So we are wondering if one person took all this, all the other people in the organization, what are they taking? So I guess that's part of it.
All right. Okay. So we already saw the events, and one of the major events that we're going to be having this week is the Special Educator Summer Camp starting tomorrow. So if you've not registered as an individual, you've not registered as a school, you've not registered as a stakeholder, you have today to register, and it's going to be great. We have Lola Nikki in the building, and it's going to be a great time. Lola is a great person, and she's doing great work, fantastic stuff. So let's not waste so much time. Let's get to the matter. We're speaking today on an interesting topic, and it's going to cover both realities, especially as we face today in the pandemic. We're talking about teaching children with special needs at home and school. And there's no other best person to handle this. So I'm just going to sit back and relax and
Let Lola walk.
You said?
Let Lola do her work.
Yes, let Lola work. So I'm sure that Titi has a question. So I'll allow Titi ask Lola an introductory question. And then I'll move to Keke, and then we'll allow Lola to just get on fire, right? Okay, so Titi, over to you.
I'm not afraid, Titi. We go way back. So you know how we do this.
I think my first question, honestly, is that it's been almost 6 months of the pandemic. A lot of us have had our children at
Titi,
home.
volume, please. Volume, your volume.
Volume. Okay. Okay. I said it's been almost 6 months of the pandemic, and people have had their children as home, and those with special needs as well. I would like to say maybe start by speaking to the mental state of the parents, because my children are not special needs, but I'm tired. Honestly, I'm talking as a parent. I love them, but I'm tired. I really, really wish they were in school. And maybe because also I don't have help. So I'm just thinking, if this is my state of mind, maybe start by speaking to the parents who have had their children with them. They might or not have had all the help, because the restrictions have closed down all the people that can easily move, come and help you, the various therapies they need. So maybe you should speak to, the parents, their state of mind, and sort of a word of encouragement, just starting. I think that's where I will start, as we talk to you today on teaching children with special needs. And even as we talk to the parents, mental state of mind, and encourage them, what should they be doing? Because a lot of people that have had children with special needs, depending on how much they decide to embrace, the blessing. That's what I call it, the blessing that God has given them. I know someone that his son didn't go to school till fall. And then and the only reason why his son eventually started going to school was I met with him, and when he then told me he had a child with CP, so I was like, okay, so how far with school? They didn't think about it. Well, honestly, I've gone for 1 or 2 conferences, I've heard about this, and this is what I know people that are doing. So I think you speak to the parents' state of mental health, and then what should they be doing while they're at home during this time?
Thank you so much, Titi. That's a deep one. And as we were speaking, I was trying to put my thoughts together. Whenever we talk about special needs or special education, and a lot of people are not aware, or they do not understand the depth of what it is. Because, for example, you make mention of cerebral palsy. There are about so the categorization is about 13. Now, CP is one of them, autism is one of them. And as you look at how each of this disability display itself, you realize that some children will need educational support, some children will be needing physical support, that's physical therapy, occupational therapy. Some children will be needing behavioral analysis or management or modification. So it's quite wide. It's quite wide, their needs, and wide what a child with, for example, learning disability or a child with dyslexia will be requiring, will be more of an educational support as opposed to other services. So I can imagine where parents are right now. And when you say parents, what a parent of a child with dyslexia would be going through might not be as much as what a parent of a child with autism or a child with dyslexia or a child with physical impairment. So the needs differ. And I totally empathize with a lot of parents right now with children with special needs. Like you said, when you were speaking, I was also like, I can imagine how you feel, and I am going through almost the same. As a matter of fact, I said I had to get my children a facilitator because it was getting like they would never finish this semester because I had to do my own stuff and then I needed to get back to them. So there was too much on me. Now, for parents of children, I wish I don't have to categorize them as one because that is the truth. What one parent is going through is not the same as what another parent is going through. So the way they would manage it to be different from one another. But for those, and I know that everybody's going to say, look, we're all in the same shoes right now. Somehow we are, but for parents of children with special needs, particularly parents of children with intellectual or neurodevelopmental disabilities, is a lot for them emotionally. And I'm thankful you said the word of their mental state of mind. It is tough. It is particularly tough for parents who have children with neurodevelopmental disability or delay. Reason being that, and even for parents with children with CP, particularly the CP that the particular kind of cerebral palsy where the child is totally dependent on the parents. So it's a lot on the parent. But one thing I learned when COVID just began was, look, you have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to understand, this is the time to know yourself. What can I take? What can I not take? What can I control? What can I not control? And then when I was actually, because this is new to every one of us, we're all trying to figure it out and see what we can do to be in the right frame of mind. And one thing I learned is that, look, people who are emotionally intelligent do not want to be, they're not in control of everything. They live one day at a time, knowing that things will fall in place eventually. And that's where I find myself. I said to myself, and I said to my parents, that I've spoken to, look, nobody saw this coming. It's not your fault. It's not the child's fault. Whatever you can do per day is enough. You are enough. Tell yourself every day, no matter what you put down to say, look, what I'm going to do for this child. You have other kids, and other kids are going to be wondering, I mean, those times when you're paying attention to that child, they might not mind because they're in school, they have other people are meeting their needs. But right now you are with this, probably you have 3 kids and you have one with special needs. I know people that have 2 kids with special needs and they have 2 other kids. So I know it's going to be demanding for them. But the thing to do right now is sort out yourself, which is telling yourself, I'm enough. I'm enough. Whatever I do today is fine. Don't beat yourself up. I'm a believer. I'm a person of faith. Talk to God about how you're feeling and leave it all to God. You know, it's going to look like everything's going to choke you up, but I always say to people, the heavens will not fall down on you. Once you have that mindset that everything will be fine, and you take a day at a time, okay? And then once you've spoken to yourself, you found yourself in that address where you know that it's not going to crumble on me. It will take a day at a time. It cannot be perfect. Then you speak to your children, depending on their cognitive level. Help them understand that, look, it's not as it used to be. My kids are asking, Mama, why are you always on your laptop? Why are you always working? I have to say to her, you are always in school and I'm always at home. Or at work doing my thing. But now we're at home, it looks to you like Mama is always busy because your friends are not there and all of that. So they're trying to understand, okay, so when are you going to be done? So as a parent, you might also want to, as a parent of children with special or a child with special needs, you might also want to create a structure, a schedule where the kids can see how the day will go. And also let them understand that you don't have to finish it all up. So when everybody understands the schedule, sometimes we miss it. And remember, and I don't like to see failure as something, I don't even like the word failure. We didn't do it right. We had our lapses. We've learned from it and we see a way to make it better. And I can tell from some of the parents I've spoken to, right from this started, when you ask them now, oh, it's not as bad as we started. It's not looking so bad. We're getting there day by day. And then, of course, everybody knows that somehow we have to do a lot of work to get it if you can never get the normal. So telling yourself that it's a phase, it's a time that nobody has gone through, putting all of those in place, finding your place of strength, understanding when you're tired, to just take that break, find someone to speak to, find a support system, and together we'll get there.
Fantastic. Wow. That's a bell of blessing for that. That's powerful. You know, if Akeke had to clap for you, if Keke clapped for you, then you said something good. Trust me. It's like that. All right. So while we give Lola a breather, I saw Eben, I saw Safety Chick, Ichi, and Iga to say something. And I know that Safety Chick will definitely always come from the safety angle. We're talking about teaching children with special needs at home and school. Safety Chick, say something. I know you now, so say something. You wanted to say something.
I didn't know I wanted to say something, but you knew I wanted to say something.
I knew I would be out.
Okay, so, I think I really like what Neki has already said. You know, the importance of knowing that nobody has it all figured out. We all found ourselves in COVID at the same time. The only difference is, okay, are you willing to try to make a move and not just feel like, oh, the whole world is against you and all that? So I'll just add, you know, from the safety angle of things, because she has mentioned, you know, creating a schedule, trying to understand, you know, foster understanding and engaging in support systems, you know, and all. So from the safety angle of things, I'll just be saying that because prior to now, your children were probably having their learning in school, right? And so you may not have had the sort of conducive learning environment in the home front. So you've got to see how you can improvise, because you know that you're working with your children having special needs, and it's not going to be the regular way other people are probably doing their own things. Yeah, so you must consider how the learning environment is. It comfortable? If you are going to be making this child to learn in a particular posture for a long time, how are you going to ensure that this child is very comfortable? How can you improvise with the furniture that you currently have in your house, so that we don't have a case where because we are trying to learn, then the child's posture begins to suffer, you see? So you must look within. I know that I'm really trying as much as possible to see how people can manage their costs. I'm not going to ask you, go and start buying this and buying that. If you have the resources to buy, of course, that's fine. But if not, just look within your home. How can you improvise? So I gave an example last week about a home task that you can give to your child that, you know, it's not necessarily learning, the English part kind of thing, but it's also developing their other skills. So I gave the example of, picking leaves, teaching them how to cut leaves, and how to maybe break melon, So yes, it might seem like it's not regular kind of learning, but it's also helping them with their motor skills. And something very important, what Mr. Nike has mentioned again, is different children have face different reality. So your different special needs have different reality. So you're not going to try to do a one size fits all. Know the exact disability that your child has, and then see how to make the learning process safe and seamless for the child. So I've talked about making sure that the environment is conducive. Then you also have to see how to factor in play. Because you see, as much as yes, we're trying to make them learn, also try to make them relax so that you also do not feel under pressure. Because you also need to understand that they're also children with feelings. So they're also feeling a certain type of way at this time. So if you don't understand it and you're, as a parent, you're trying to force it that, oh, you must learn this way, other people's children are doing this, you would put yourself and that child under so much pressure. And I know that there are actually some special needs that when you apply too much pressure, they just flip in the opposite direction. I really do not want that right now. So it's really important that you are taking into consideration your own unique context, your own child's disability, and of course, get help. I like what Mr. Nike is doing, this conference that he put together. Get knowledge as much as possible because it just can never be a waste. And please know the basic first aid. I have certain people on Instagram that I can advise you to follow. There's First Aid by Levande and there is Ask Dr. Means. You should know basic first aid because if your child goes into a sort of crisis and for some reason you can't go to the hospital, what are you going to do? The worst thing that can happen is if things get really bad and then you begin to blame yourself as a parent that you didn't do enough. So knowledge is really important at this time. Be empowered. Don't feel like, oh, there's just too much pressure. Don't feel overwhelmed. Pick some key aspect and hone it. And then different other kinds of emergencies that can happen in your home. Get other people in the house. If you have other kids who do not have special needs and other members of the family, get them on board the plan and let that child also know this is your role. If any mistake happens, maybe say a fire, this is what we want you to do. Let everybody feel carried along. Let's stop making them feel like they're helpless, they can't do anything. Give them roles too. You'll be amazed at how well they're also going to perform. So I think
Thank you so much. Fantastic. I'm going to ask Eben, still on teaching, and I'm going to get back to Lola. I'm sure Lola has gotten a breather now. So Eben, we're talking about teaching children with special needs at home and also at school. And I know that you've been doing remarkable work in creating resources. In fact, you actually dedicated a particular day of the week. You called it Paperless Wednesday, where a lot of people try to get to know how to do. So Eben, just quickly in a minute or two, share a little bit of how resources can help in ensuring that there's learning integration and support for those with special needs.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Rotimi. I actually want to appreciate um, Lola and Nikki for actually coming today. Especially this is even our topic, our area of concentration, and she has actually opened the floor, and it was great. Ugochi mentioned something, safety chicks. He talks about fine motor skills, which is the area I also talk about when we explore the area of special needs. I have actually worked with them around the 2007 and more, where we go to special needs school to teach a lot of fine motor skill activity so that their grappling at least can actually improve. And then because we observe that they need a lot of vocational studies and around them entrepreneurship skill, we teach them arts and crafts to develop those skills, and then it has been awesome. So my advice to parents out there, especially now that most teachers may not even be available to come to their homes, maybe for financial reasons and more, is for them to make sure that there are activities around what they do. Literacy and numeracy is fine, but those things should also come in practical way because if it comes in a practical way, it can actually they can actually understand the subject matter better if it comes in a practical way. I remember there's a boy I teach every Tuesday in one of the school I work every Wednesday, and each time this boy actually comes to class, I think the boy is a Down syndrome, yeah. So each time this boy actually comes to the classroom, I make sure I engage the fine motor skills, and that is what almost the parent is actually complaining about, because the boy cannot actually grab. So I said, this boy needs to be working with crayon every day. This boy needs to be drawing. Just and then don't look at the drawing as don't look at the outcome of the drawing. In the process of doing this, the child is developing so many skills. That's why I do tell them the outcome of an artwork, it is not the major artwork. The process of doing that artwork, it is the major focus of every child. So creativity is for everyone, regardless of whether you're at home or you're at school. You can develop creative skills. And then parents can look for a lot of improvisation. We like on Saturdays, 9 a.m. I send a lot of art activities online, and the parents can actually tap on my creativity, step it down to their age, step it down to their level of understanding. And if they are even above it, they can even bring a lot of more innovation more to this. And at the end of the day, the child will actually feel that yes, learning is still taking place. COVID-19 has actually come to change a lot of reality. And then there's one thing I actually observe about it is that parents should now serve as the first teacher for now. They should be able to know that they are the first teacher. They have been the first teacher before, but some of them don't know. So for now, they now see that they are the first teacher. The second teacher is just the teacher in the classroom that will just see them almost just 5 times in a week, and it's not almost every day. You also take charge at home. Every day should be a day to learn. Give them a role, and then at the end of the day, everything is going to be all right.
Fantastic, fantastic. Um, so Lola, how do how do I even say it now? Okay, let me ask you a question, and I'm sure that I'm going to link that question just for KK to say something uh, on this. So, looking at it, how do we, number one, motivate a child, especially knowing that for those who are not having the opportunity to go to maybe their centers right now, staying at home can actually be quite demanding. So if the parents already also are feeling the stress, I'm sure we also need to look at the angle or the area where the children themselves, how do we motivate the children, right? And then the next question will be that is homeschooling the best option for special needs children or children with special needs? Permit me to say that.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorothy. If I heard you right, you said, how do you motivate a child to learn while at home? Was that the question?
Yes.
Okay. So it's exactly the same way you motivate a child to learn at school. I know the setting is not the same, but one thing you need to know, Eben said it right, that parents are the first teacher. And sometimes they are, even they are not aware, they are the first teacher. Before that child goes out, they've learned things from you by watching, even as babies and all of that. Even the act of talking, they've heard people at home, they've heard you. You are the first teacher, you know. So there's something that we do, and it's called I would call it behavior modification, how to modify behavior, and it's based on the applied behavior analysis principle. And one of the things that is one of the ways that is done, and I don't want to go technical because we do it every day. We do it every day. So, for example, I it's more like you earn something, so it's not like a token system or reward or reinforcement. There are different terms that are used for it. But one thing that we do, and I think everyone should do it, every parent, whether you have a child with special needs or not, is that let children know that everything about life is not about I want, I get. It's about earning it. You need to earn it, you need to work for it. So, for example, um, probably when COVID started and we're not sure how it's going to be, let's just keep waiting, maybe school open, and then it's done and everyone that they needed to teach their kids at home. What I would advise or is supposed to be done. And like I said, all of us know these things. So, for example, most times when our kids are sitting quiet and are doing the right thing, we hardly say to them, "Well done." You know, whenever they do the wrong thing, like, "Why are you shouting? Why are you making us? Why are you doing that?" When the kids are quiet, and so I love the way you're sitting there quietly and watching, not fighting about who watches what and that. You're unknowingly reinforcing the good behavior you want to see in these children, such that when you say things like, oh, I'm not happy about the way you threw that on the floor, you did the negative, the things that are not acceptable, then they're able to balance it, that look, when I do something right, I get praised for it. When I do something wrong, I get the other consequence that is not meant to be, but to be a balance. Now, what I do with the kids is I find out what excites them, what they like, and I place it on different hierarchy. So, for example, if your schedule says you're supposed to be having numeracy or self-help skill or literacy, I'm just imagining what it is you put in the schedule for the child. And I know that when it's time for this particular thing, the child might say, oh, might not even warm up. Some kids will be like, sometimes the daughter says, oh, mama, I think I want to have breakfast now. So knowing the time for everything, helping the kid understand it, like, look, this is what we're going to have now. Some kids might not get it, might have to use pictures, might have to have ways to have to understand what it is that they're supposed to learn. Now, what I usually do, so when I know that the kids are going to, probably you have 20 minutes for them to learn a particular, you have a goal or an objective for that time, I'm going to look at what the child, first you have to understand your child, so you know what is going to trigger the child and what excites the child and all of that. And then you as a parent or as a teacher, your parent that you are, you plan that schedule based on what the child, because it has to be a mutual agreement. You can't force anyone to learn if they're not willing to learn. So you need to understand where that child is at that time. You need to know what triggers, whatever it is, what makes the child tick and all of that. Then you have to arrange it based on, so this is going to take us 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It's not school where you sit down or you have to follow the schedule. In school, there's something called accommodation, where if you're supposed to teach a child for 30 minutes, you can say that, look, this child cannot sit beyond 10 minutes. So this child would sit for 10 minutes, take a break, another 10 minutes or 5 minutes, then come back to it. But there must be an agreement between you and the child. There must be a reward, But that also, when you give that reward, probably the praise, or the child gets a sticker or gets something, you want to be careful so that the child is not dependent on it. There must be an intrinsic motivation. The child must be motivated from within. What is that thing that the child enjoys to do? Add it to what you're about to do with the child, and then find out how you're going to balance it all by, praising the child. If you do this right now, and remember, okay, you can have your tab for 10 minutes or something, but there must be an exchange of what the child wants and what you want, and find a balance to be able to make sure that you ensure that the child learns. So let the child know what it is, what the child likes, what you're trying to achieve, and strike a balance, and ensure that there's always a reward for what the child has done. And then from time to time, you pull out the reward. If it's scary, you have to, it's more like a scaffolding thing. When the child has gotten the concept of learning at a particular time, then you pull out whatever it is that you're using for the reward and find something higher, probably saying, if you can do this for 5 consecutive days, get a whole hour of your best game or something. But there must be a planning at your own end, understanding what your child likes, understanding how your child learns, the learning style of your child. Putting all of that together will help you get a better outcome with learning for the child. Now, your second question, I think I always say I have special needs too. Mr. Rotimi, please remind me the second question again.
So we're talking about homeschooling, if it's been the best option for children with special needs.
Well, okay, homeschooling. So when it comes to children with special needs, again, we call children with special needs, like I said, there are different kind of categories. There are some kids, right, that homeschooling might be all the option they have because of mobility issue, or because of the help they need with the activities, their bedridden and all of that. But saying is the best option, I'll be in the middle. It's a yes and a no, depending on the need of the child. Okay, and thankfully, COVID has made it obvious to us that hybrid learning is a way forward. So even the child is learning at home, homeschooling is also like an hybrid kind of thing, because the child can join up online, and still be at home to learn. So it's either way, whatever works for the child is what. For children with special needs, we look at what works for them and then bring it on for them to acquire learning.
Fantastic. So I'm going to ask this question, and this is about the summer camp. Before we go to take comments, and then we'll come back to the remaining questions. And I want Titi to answer a question as well that you would also answer. So Titi and KK, get ready for me. They are actually attacked and I'm ready for them as well. Jude abandoned me today. Odetola is hiding somewhere. I don't know whether Keke has threatened Odetola, but I'm ready for you, Keke. Bring it on. Bring it on. All right. So Lola, you're coming up with a program, and it's starting tomorrow, and I want the world to get to know about it. The Special Educators Summer Camp. Can you just tell the entire world what this is all about? Who is eligible to be a part of it, and what to expect? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi. So, Special Needs Summer Camp, it's an event or a program that is put together to meet the needs of educators, parents, and related service providers. And when I say related service provider, I'm talking about occupational therapists, physical therapists, school owners, classroom teachers, not just special educators, general educators. And why did we do that? We started last year. From my experience from visiting schools, speaking with individuals that work with children with special needs, I realized that there's a huge gap. There's so much to learn. There's so much to learn when it comes to working with children with special needs in this part of the world. In Nigeria, much to learn. So what we did was, how can we get this information out there? And of course, we all know that learning has different ways you can learn. You can learn by reading, you can learn by talking with someone and all of that. But with COVID in place now, we realize that a lot of people, the way to access information now is using the internet. I mean, using virtual learning and the virtual resources we have. And that's why we decided to do this. And what is the great thing about what we're doing this year in particular is we're having parents come speak to us about how they've been able to, for those parents who have done exceptionally well at this time, they're coming up to tell us how they've been able to help their children. Probably we have almost all the different kind of categories of disability we're going to be having at this year's summer camp. So we're going to have parents who have children with CP will be speaking to us. When I say CP, cerebral palsy, parents of children with autism are going to be speaking to us. Parents of children with of Down syndrome are going to be speaking to us. So we are identifying the place of parents also know. Tell us what your experience has been. Let teachers learn. Let other parents learn from you. Professionals in the field of dyslexia, professionals in the field of IEP, professionals in the field of collaboration are coming up to tell us this is what we have done. We have people from different parts of the world. We know that Nigeria is a developing nation. Yes, we're the giant of Africa, but then there's so much we need to learn, particularly in this field of special education. And that's why we decided to do this and bring in professionals from can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So we're there to know what they might not be able to come from we have professionals from about 4 continents, but together we all come together, see what had worked for them, see what we are doing, exchange ideas. And then the fantastic thing about this conference is that it's not going to end there. We've made it such a way that you can still connect with these professionals after the conference, because for you to work with children with special needs, there must be collaboration. There must be collaboration. Learning is ongoing, research is ongoing, such that beyond the 3 days of the conference, you can still connect with these individuals and see how you can learn from them. And the whole essence is to ensure that no child living with special needs or not is left behind when it comes to quality education. Thank you.
Awesome. Lola is on fire. The ladies are on fire. Even the men are on fire. So Iben, you left me. After the last finished speaking, that came back online. All right. So Titi, you want to say something? Okay, you didn't. I thought you wanted to say something. Let me ask Keke. Keke, being an educator, why is Keke laughing? Oh, God. Why are you laughing? Why? Keke,
I'm happy. Today is Monday. It's Monday. I'm happy. I'm excited.
Because I'm happy. Okay. All right. Okay. So you are a school owner. You are a consultant. You are a lot of things in one place. That's why we call you KK Republic. So tell us, what exactly is that barrier? I find out that a lot of mainstream schools have this barrier to inclusion or adopting inclusion as in the full swing. What do you think is a barrier to that?
Yeah, so for different schools, it's different things. For a lot of schools that I have spoken, maybe I know the owners personally. For a lot of us, one of the major problems is the fact that when we don't understand the full let me use the word spectrum, the full spectrum of needs that we need, that needs to be solutions. Really, what are the solutions we need to put in place to ensure that we can give the child the very best that they need? So what happens is we cherry pick. We find out, okay, we can work with this child, we can work with this child. So we, like I said, we just cherry pick and say, okay, with these sets of needs, we can work with them because we're able to provide the solution. Also, another problem that I found, and this is broadly, it's very generalized, is that beyond the safety issue, the fact that some children who need special, especially when you're looking at physical impairment, you need to be careful because you might need wheelchair assistance, you need walking aids. So if the parent is unable to provide those things and the school is not structured in such a way that, for example, I need a ramp to climb up into my school. So what's going to happen with a child who has those sort of physical disabilities? I will be unable to have that child in my learning environment. So that again is another problem, which is the safety and monetary issues. The next one is the labeling, which is just heartbreaking, because some schools then say, oh, they will say in my school, these are the kind of children that I have. And a child is a child. When you get a bag of grapes, you get a bag of grapes. Some are broken inside, some are whole, but it's your bag of grapes, and you go home with the bag of grapes. And that's the same thing. No parent asked for a special needs child. None. It's just something that happened, So, but that's one of the major things that I see. They don't want other parents coming in and, having to. I mean, there was one parent who came to me, and her child had. This girl was 18, but she wasn't tall, so she was about maybe 4 feet or thereabouts. So she had, and there were very visible physical impairments. And she came to me and she said, look, you know what? She's been in a school and the child was in that school for about 2 years. So she's very busy because the cost of putting the child in a school was really expensive, plus all the other therapy. And there was a day, apparently, she just happened to walk into the school. And she didn't see her child. And she was like, where's my child? Apparently, that they had been taking away that child from the classroom and hiding her in a back room because they didn't want her interacting with the other children or a parent walking in and seeing her. And that child had been in that place for 2 years. So for me, I would rather not take that child into my school if I have to do that to a child, because that is wicked. But people would take that child on, take the money, but then, do something which is totally just horrible. Yeah, so that's what I see is the problem, the stigmatization, the safety issues, which they do not have the monetary ability to cover. And then thirdly, the fact that, I don't have the solutions for this, because I'm not just open-minded enough to have so yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that you were very honest, brutally honest. You said?
Can I say,
Lola, you want
can I
to
say
say something?
about what you said?
Okay.
And everything you have said is absolutely true.
All right.
It is. And it's no one's fault. It's a fundamental problem. It's like the foundational problem we have. And when we look at developed countries and what they've done, realize that when it comes to inclusion, there are basically 3 stages of inclusion, which is the preparatory stage, where I think we are, and we're not yet there. So if that's 100%, we are still about 30%. There's the preparatory stage, there's the execution stage, and there's the assessment of what we're doing and how we can redo and all of that. And the major work is that preparatory stage. And one of the things that I think when I make it work, so for all of us, every one of us, so I say to myself, what makes me different? What makes me understand children with special needs? The fact that I went to study it, understood what was going on with them, and then the empathy got in. This child did not ask for this. This child did not ask to look like this. This is how the brain works. This one led to this. And I'm like, oh my God, and a lot more that made me who I am in this field. Okay. Now bringing it back, if I had not gotten that training, What happened? Why are developed countries, why are they doing this thing and seem to be thriving with it? They started from the onset. So every child, one thing I think we can do, one of the simple things we can do is, how about our curriculum introduce what I learned about what disability is and why it is. All our curriculum should carry from preschool to elementary to secondary school to colleges, where there's a course, not just to know and identify what is disability, just in every level, so that when I've read about it, reading about it in nursery school or knowing about it, watching the video and all of that, acceptance begins. Acceptance begins. And then the question will now be, so what can I do? Because that was what was it for me. And now, what can I do? What can I do? But I didn't have to wait till I went to graduate school or to university to do that. That's what my thought is. Like, okay, what can we do about this? Why don't we think of the curriculum, saying that these are individuals with us. We cannot do without them. They are with us. They're like every day. You find the short, the tall, the fair, the dark, and all of that. How can we make it a course such that you're not learning to teach them? We want to identify, we want to know what is happening to them from preschool to every stage. And then, because there's so much, you can't just, and that's where the issue is. When Keke was talking about the ramp and all of that, policy has been put in place. Implementation is issue. But like I was saying on our show yesterday, you cannot force me to do what I don't know about. And that's where the place of acceptance is. There's policy. Why do you need to enforce? Why do you need someone to enforce it? When I already know that for me to cross the road, I need to look left, right, and
left and right.
That is naturally comes to me naturally. Nobody has to enforce that to me, because if I don't, I'll get hit. Yeah. I don't move when the traffic is on red, and all of that. Yeah. That is something we want for these children. Let's start it now. Beyond, okay, inclusion is having these children with us, like we're doing them a favor. Let's understand what they are going through first, so that we can now accept them, and then inclusion can now begin. We are still at the beginning stage.
I'm sorry, before you go, Mr. Rotimi, my worry as Lola was speaking is that sometimes I've actually had relationship or interaction with parents, and they're in a bubble. They don't even want to accept that their children need help. Secondly, when you tell them what the possibilities are, for example, I have a parent who was telling me, oh no, my child cannot be online. The online space is too hard. I said, no, already you have put that mindset that your child cannot do it. So the structures you need to put in place to support that child to doing it, which, like Lola mentioned, at the scaffold, you're not even going to want to be interested. Lola, please, let me.
Can I say something? As imagine was parent.
Sorry, imagine as a parent, and I know about disability, not because I have a child. I already know that these individuals have been taught in preschool. I already know acceptance for me will come a bit easily. That just dropped on me, So that beginning stage, we need to work on having it as a course. Like, this is a course that these individuals are here with us. We understand what they're going through. We're not planning to teach them.
Yeah. All right, so let's what you want to say. I'm sure Titi is laughing at me because she knows that everywhere there's on left and right, and we have limited extinguisher. So, okay, quickly.
Can I just say something very briefly? So, as Ms. Aneke was speaking, I was just remembering when we had a pilot study. We had a pilot study in Abuja last year, where we gave some schools in Abuja our child safety storybooks.
Safety teacher, pilot up and down. Continue.
So we wanted the teachers to use the books to teach children for a term, so that we're able to gauge knowledge levels, right? And when we did that, by this time, we're actually working on a storybook for children with special needs and safety. When we did that, we saw that the children got more knowledge because even the teachers said that they learned more. And some of the teachers in Abuja now said that they wanted this safety book to be made for children with special needs. And we're like, perfect, because that's actually what we're working on. And guess what? Since we brought out the storybook for children with special needs, and we started going to schools, reading the stories to the children now started sharing their own experiences. For some of them, they want to actually say hello to a special needs child, right? But their parents is almost drawing them aside. And you see, that's actually part of the problem, because some parents actually feel that their child talking to a child with special needs, their child would catch it. All those kinds of mentalities are the things that we need to change. And that's why the knowledge, I really agree, because we need to start from basic, teaching children that they are also children like yourself. Nobody asked for this thing. And when we make them feel like they're part of us, we're not exempting them, other children begin to show empathy. They are in their shoes, and we make them feel a part of the process. So it should start from this, and also our places of worship. What I have found in the course of trying to raise safety consciousness is when in this part of the world, anytime something comes from our pulpit, we tend to take it more than we take it when it's coming from anywhere. And so our religious leaders need to work with us. They need to talk about this. They need to make people become more inclusive, make it as part of the conversation, because that is actually how others will now begin to say, okay, it's not such a problem. Oh, it's not like COVID that you will catch it, just by playing with the child. You don't catch it like that. And by the time we begin to dismantle these orientations and mindset from a combination of factors, it would help us in the long run. So I totally agree with, spreading the information, let the children know, let the parents know, and from there it would really help.
Yeah, thank you, Safety Chick. So Lola, we have a tradition, and that's where we bring anybody that comes on the show is the one that will read the comments, and it's always ratified by the chief whip of the house, aka TT of Niger Kids. And so, with full permission, I'm going to ask TT. Do I have your permission?
Yeah, you said I was about to harass you about taking the comments. So
I do. All right, so Lola, you're going to read comments for us. I'm going to beam up the comments on the screen. So you just read the comments for us, and then we'll have our last words, and then we'll end the show. So over to you, Lola.
Okay. So Nana K, hello Nana, says our religious leaders.
That's the way we call Nana. We say Nana. That's the way we call
Nana. Oh, sorry. Nana says, Safety Chick, round of applause for you. And she says, our religious leaders need to do more. Very true. Very, very true. Nana again says, this is why early intervention is important. It helps create awareness within early years learning environments for children, parents, and the society in general. We need to educate our society more and create awareness within our spaces. Very true. Inclusion, again, Nana. Inclusion can only be inclusion can only be possible when an ecosystem model is put into place. Even the developed countries are still working to improve how children with special needs are supported. We definitely have a lot of work to do in this area in Nigeria. I totally agree. We have a lot of work to do. Maureen says, thank you, Mrs. Ajayi, for the illustration with the bag of grapes. Very true. Thank you so much. Maureen says again, stigmatization and lack of adequate structures in mainstream schools are some of the issues. Very true.
Yeah.
Kende Ojo, denial is still a major problem with parents as it relates to children with special needs learning-wise. On the part of the school owners too, the crave for more pupils also moved them to accepting challenged children despite the fact that they do not have facilities and personnel to help such children. So that's according to Kende Ojo. Nana says again, Madam KK, thank you for highlighting these challenges. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dideolu Adekogbe says, great. Hello, madam. Good morning. Thank you for that contribution. Nana again says, very important, no child should be left behind. Rotimator says, be a part of the Special Educator Summer Camp 2020, happening between the 18th to 20th of August 2020. Thank you, Mr. Rotimator. Ifyok Ido Ikeago says, yes, take the children along, involve the children in creating their own routine. This way, they develop that feeling of ownership and feel empowered and in charge of their itineraries. Kinde Ojo again says, homeschooling is inevitable as the role of the parents cannot be overemphasized in the overall development of the child in building a total child. What the COVID-19 pandemic has done within the new normal of today is to bring this truth to the to the fore.
Yeah.
For the challenge child with is development. Very true. Thank you, Kendo Ojo. And that's this quite tiny for me to see. Let me move closer.
Okay.
So I can't read this. It's too tiny.
Better now?
To positively reinforce a behavior, that's if work Ido Ikago, it is important to use positive language. Using negative statement to enforce negative behavior can be counterproductive. Absolutely, like what I was saying. Thank you. Nana again says, I'm trying to be a specialist teacher right now. Mr. Ben, that was a clap for you. Mr. Ben, the process is definitely more important than the end result. Remind me of what Madam KK said last week. Parents are most times too bent on academic and cognitive skills. I love how she emphasized the importance of the KUD knowledge, understanding, do procedure. Thank you for that, Nana. Master Limited says improvisation is important, according to EQ. Rotimator says the outcome of the artwork is not the main work, but the process of the work, of the artwork. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and that's well, I don't have to say about that. Okay, so Nana K says, right on point, Madam Aneke. If there is one thing that COVID-19 has helped us further advocate for is the importance of parents training. We need to keep training parents for continuity and strategies for transitioning this cohort of children to ease learning both at home and within the educational settings. It has been challenging for parents, and I've personally had to support parents emotionally by encouraging them as we go through our teaching sessions. Sometimes teaching sessions, I don't have all of that.
Hello, Lola.
Enough. So Lola Lola goes this way for Lola and AK. Thank you. Safety chick, clap for you. Our religious leader needs to do more. Yeah, I read that earlier. Good morning, educators, says Olabisi Abimbola Jimo. Olabisi Abimbola Jimo again says, very interesting topic on board. Ayodele Adeniji, this has been very interesting. Thank you all for putting this together. Kende Ojo says, well done to you all. A great job you're doing here. You're doing very.
All right, I'm afraid this is where we'll have to stop today. And we will need to have last words from everyone. But please, before we do that, once again, Lola Aneke is the convener of the Special Educator Summer Camp. And it's starting tomorrow all through to Thursday. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 18th, 19th, and 20th of August. If you're out there and you're not registered yet, you still have today before the close of work to do so.
Do it now.
I like that. Do it now, do it now, do it now. So ensure that you get all the details. If you replay the videos, you see the details. Lola Aneke is on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, like our page. On Facebook, she's on Instagram. And then, of course, our platform is called Cadet or Cadet Academy. So if you go to Cadet Academy on Instagram at Academy NG, or you go to Facebook, you will see her there. Lola is on all the platforms, actually. You just type Lola on Google, Lola Aneke on Google, and I'm telling you, what you will have is a mini BSc. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure make sure you're part of it. I'm going to be speaking there. Eben is going to be speaking there. Rhoda is going to be speaking there. There are many fantastic speakers and experts going to be there. Parents will be sharing experience. And I think school owners should actually be there, to solve the solution to KK's conversation. You know, a lot of people cannot make an excuse any longer.
Have we lost Mr. Rotary?
I think we did.
I believe so.
Okay. That's it.
Oh. Rotimi, are you coming back? Or...
Mrs. Adewusi, you're muted in case you are trying to say something to us.
Hello. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Adelola quickly mentioned the comment. I was going to mention that homeschooling is important, but we can't call it the best support for the child. Thank you, Adelola, for your comments. And last words from our analyst as we are about to end the show. So I'm going to start from Eben. I'm going to go to Gochi. I'm going to go to KK and Titi, and then of course our special guest Lola. We've had a great time. Do you agree with me, guys? We had a great time today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you, Lola, for joining. And I have a special announcement to make. I know that it's going to be a spot-on announcement, but you know, it's not a Good Morning Education show without spontaneous announcement, right? So, by the power vested in us, not in me, and without being antagonized by KK and Titi, we're going to be having at least once a week a special needs focus. One of the days will be dedicated to special needs. So our show is now inclusive in name.
Oh, super.
And for now, I can tell you that
Thank you.
I can tell you for now that Lola is coming back. So we're bringing Lola back. If you've not had enough of Lola, there's so much source available. We're bringing her back. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with Dr. Eben. Show your face. Are you licking ice cream or taking something behind the screen? Show your face. Quick.
I'm not sure I can show my face again. Let me quickly hand it up.
You're up to something. I told you. So parting words, Eben, quickly, in 3 seconds. Parting words.
In 3 seconds, what I'm just going to advise is that creativity is for everyone, regardless of the situation we find ourselves, regardless of our environment. We can learn anything to develop creativity. It can come in the form of music, it can come in form of writing, it can come in the form of playing, it can come in the form of anything. We can engage the children with special needs, with different kinds of creativity. And remember, when you are creative, you stand out. And standing out is what we are looking out for out there. I remember a child I watched a video on TVC, and the child with a Down syndrome can drive a car. The guy has actually learned about 4 skills, cobbler, different kind of things. So let's try as much as possible. Let's give them skill to learn alongside the literacy and numeracy. Thank you.
All right. Then we move over to Safety Check.
Okay, so I'll just say that look around your home, look around your school, because eventually we're still going to have to go back to physical school buildings. So look around and see how can you make this environment conducive for a child with special needs, and then do the best that you can to make it that way, and try to include them in tasks and things that need to be done so they do not feel left out.
All right. And then, of course, KK.
So I want to say that it starts with you. It starts with your mindset. It starts with acceptance. So if you're a parent with a child with special needs, if you know somebody with a child with special needs, you need to get into that headspace where you understand that it is not about you. It is about what is best for that child. And you have to almost have an out-of-body experience where you stop focusing on yourself and you focus your energies on how you can help that child be the best that they can be, because they have something on the inside of them that our world needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Titi Adelsi.
I think what I want to say is that, like Lola said, special needs is not for only special needs educators, it's not for only special needs parents. Everyone really should know and be more aware about special needs so that we can make the world a better place. Tell your children about it. If you're not very knowledgeable about it, then this summer camp is really the place that you should be. Go and know, because you too, you come in contact with, you may be able to advise parents, you may be able to tell a friend of yours, identify that their child is special needs, and urge them and encourage them and be a support system to them. So I would say everyone should, look at getting, educated on special needs. Thank you.
All right. And Lola, before you say, okay, no, Lola, give your words and then I'll wrap up. Say, give your words.
What I would like to say is thank you, everyone. It's about children with special needs and how they can be included. And I would say finally that if you truly care, because to be an educator, to be a school owner, to be anyone working with children, you must care. And if you truly care about learning for these individuals, then join us for the 3 days conference starting tomorrow till the 20th. And let's all come learn together. Let's learn together so that we can make learning truly experiential for all children, especially children with special needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have with me here something that you all need to see. I'm sure Lola is surprised. This is Lola's book. Lola has written about 10 books now, and she's published here. She's the fastest growing author in Africa, if I'm correct. The last time I checked, and this is one book that at least you should be able to start your journey with. It's called Special Needs Made Easy, right? And everything about special needs. I think this is the beginning to inclusion. If you think of having anything like inclusive society at home or at school, this is the kind of book that you must have. So, KK, this book goes to all your associates and colleagues just to be able to answer those thoughts. So when you read this book, the stigma disappears. When you read this book, the fear disappears. When you read this book, the ignorance disappears. When you read this book, special needs appears. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Can I say something real quick before we round up? All right. Okay for me to say every person, every facilitator on this show gets a copy for free? That's my gift to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
We have the mug, we have the top, we have the book. It keeps getting better. And I'm sure very soon we'll also have toothpaste donated to us, courtesy Safety Chick, smiling ambassador, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Lola, we're thankful for this. And we believe that you're doing a great job, and we'll encourage you to do more. Kisses from
so much.
Smiles from KK, shining teeth from Safety Chick, creative applause from Eben, prophetic utterances from Jude, curricular processes from Rhoda, and of course, excellent moderation from me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all we could take for today. We would like to say bye-bye. Register, see you at the special. Bye. 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 Bye.